A mysterious mercenary, a forgotten past, and a legend remade. Today we're taking a look at PlayArt's Kai, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud Strife, version 2. Welcome back. Now before we take a look at Cloud and his packaging, a question for you down in the comments. What was the first Final Fantasy game you ever played? For me, it was Final Fantasy VII, only the second JRPG I had ever played up until that point, after Super Mario RPG. Such an amazing game. It introduced me to an entire world of wonderful stories. I'm so thankful to have been around for the PlayStation 1 JRPG era. Such a great time. Turning to the packaging here, we see a nice picture of the figure on the front. The box does open with a flap. We see another picture of the Cloud figure here, as well as a biography on Cloud and his Buster Sword there, if you wish to read it. On the right hand side, we can see Cloud and his accessories here, along with the Buster Sword. Very thick packaging on the back. Again, pictures of the figure itself, as well as a lot of writing in a language I don't read. So let's get him out of the packaging and see how he looks. So with Cloud out of his packaging, we'll go ahead and measure him up. You can see that to the top of his highest spike in his hair, he stands about 10 3/4 inches, or just over 17 centimeters. So a pretty big figure, not quite 1/6 scale, but just about. So we'll put Cloud to the side here and take a look at his accessories. To start with, he comes with this base. You have this articulated pole here. You can attach the pole to any of the different holes on the base. You can see that it's bent there. This enables you to grab the figure from pretty well any position you want it to. You also get these two clamps. This one's more for grabbing his leg. You can open it, close it around there, so the figure is secure. It just easily pops into stand there. You also have the wider one, which is used for grabbing his waist. Of course, he does come with his Buster Sword, as you can see. Very big weapon, of course, inspired by Berserk. The Buster Sword has a little bit of a rust wash on it, like it's been used. You can see kind of nicks on the edge of the blade where he's hit things with it. This is a very lightweight plastic, which is good given the size of this. You wouldn't want it to drag down the figure and potentially cause balance issues. Returning to Cloud for a second, you can see there's this bolt on his back. If you pull that out, and then you take this double-ended plug here and stick it into his back, you can attach the Buster Sword through either of these two holes so that it's now mounted in there and will stay attached. And of course you can kind of rotate it around and position it how you want to. In addition to the relaxed hands that come on the figure, you also get a pair of fists. The left hand is armored, the right hand is just a normal glove. You also get a left and right hand for holding the sword. As you see, there's the angle there. And another pair of sword holding hands. These don't have the armor on them that the last one did, and they do hold the sword at a slightly different angle. So not a whole lot of accessories for Cloud. It is a little disappointing that the Buster Sword is the only sword you get with him. There was another version that did contain another weapon, but you had to rebuy the whole figure just to get that. It really would have been nice to have gotten materia to slot into at least these holes on his sword there to give a little bit of variety, because that is visible in the game. Same with, I think his gauntlet also has materia that you can slot into it, but unfortunately we don't get that. So looking at Cloud himself, as I said, this is version 2 of Cloud that PlayArts Kai has made for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The first one was based on the early trailers, so the face was different. This is based on the final game, so they've redone his face. So moving him forward, you can see that he does have the blue eyes with a little bit of green in there, the Mako look. I really like how they've done his hair here. It's in a kind of translucent yellow plastic with a little bit of dry brushing on it. His spikes are really well replicated. Final Fantasy characters, of course, have pretty crazy hairstyles, and I think they've done a really good job of replicating Cloud's. Always reminded me of a chocobo. Not sure if that was what Cloud was going for or not, but it is. More of a serious, determined expression, which is appropriate for Cloud in this game. It would have been nice to have had a second head with more of an aggressive fighting look, but they didn't choose to do that for him. His shoulder armor here. These bolts sticking out. Steampunk-like design. You can see it's got some dry brushing on there to make it look weathered and beaten. Cloud's been through quite a few battles at this point. The suspenders go down, they're sculpted on there. They are slightly raised here, kind of give it a little bit more of a 3D look. His clothing has a nice sweater-like texture to it, which makes it look like actual wool or something. The belts do kind of float around, so you can move them around to get out of the way of certain poses. Go down to his arm wrapped in the gauntlet here. Spikes. I do find the ball pegs here at the hands to be not the best looking. I wish that the glove would come up and cover them a little bit, because they do kind of stick out and ruin the otherwise good articulation. See his other hand here, just a bare glove with his cuff. So move down, he's got the baggy pants done with, again, kind of a dry brushing to pick out different colors in it. He's not as purple as he was in the original game. It's closer to kind of his Advent Children colors. And his crotch here is kind of a rubber, which does move around and allow articulation. So we go down, he's got his boots here. Looks like zippers on the boots. There are no peg holes on them. Look at the back. Again, everything's really cleanly painted. There's no spill or anything like that. They stay within the lines, and it looks realistic for what he is. I think a very good representation of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. And I do prefer this look to the Advent Children look. Now, I'm not sure if future Final Fantasy Remake games will have him in different outfits or not. This might be the only real look we get for Cloud. It'll be interesting to see. So moving on to our articulation. The head is on a ball peg. You just want to be a little careful of his hair here. It is rubber, but you don't want to damage any of these fine strands sticking down here. So he's got good rotation there. The arms lift very high. There is a swivel at the bicep. We do get a single bend elbow, which goes like that. It also rotates at the forearm. The hands are on a hinge, not a ball peg, and they do rotate. For the ab crunch, he's got the upper one at the waist. Then he has a lower one, or an upper one at the abdomen, a lower one at the waist. So you can get a good array of movement out of them. The legs are on ratchet joints. They kick back like that. They kick forward like that. Nice, sturdy feeling joints. They do rotate in and out. And they do have a little bit of a swivel at the top of the thigh here, although you'd want to kind of keep it straight if you can to not break the line on his pants. We have the double bend knee. Not the best looking double bend knee. You wouldn't probably want to keep him posed like that because it does make his knee look odd. Under the boots, there's rotation at the ankle, and it is on a hinge. And you do have the toe articulation. So a pretty good array of articulation for Cloud. You should be able to get him in most poses you'd want him to get him in. It's just a shame they couldn't hide those ball pegs a little bit better. Overall, I am impressed with Cloud. I think they did a good job of replicating his look from the video game. I do wish they had found a way to hide that ball peg a little bit better, and I would have liked to have seen more accessories. The weapons and the materia in particular would have been nice additions to Cloud, and perhaps a different head sculpt with a little bit different expression. The one thing to note is that these figures are $150 US, which is overpriced in my opinion. They are a good quality and they are big figures, but with the lack of accessories in that, I'd be more comfortable paying, say, $120, $125. The issue is that Square Enix owns Final Fantasy. They also own a toy company, so it's very unlikely they'll ever license them out to a different toy company like a Hasbro or a Bandai for an SH Figuarts version. The one advantage is that Square does seem to be committed to doing a number of figures in the line. In addition to the main party, they've also solicited Reno, Rude, Rufus, Jesse, Sonnen. So it looks like we will be able to get a complete party and some of the side characters in this line. So that's excellent. But as it stands, I'm very happy to finally have these Final Fantasy VII figures and to complete the whole party. And I look forward to the other figures in the line. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.